Hello, today I'm going to be doing a 1cc commentary on Mushihimesama Original 1.0 Normal mode. The first stage is not too bad, so I'll explain the general mechanics of the game. In Original mode, the main component is survival. You have these amber pieces that are on the ground that contribute to your score, along with the enemies that you kill. But otherwise, the main component of scoring in this mode is losing as few lives as possible. The end score bonus, or the end game bonus for each side that you have, is quite hefty. 10 million points per life that you have at the end of the game. And so I am going for a scoring run in this mode, and so I'm going to try to achieve as few misses as possible. I don't achieve a no miss run, but I try to get as few misses as possible. And here, very good introduction to the game. You can, for the most part, string side to side. You have some big enemies that provide a few problems, but I'm using S power, so the power of the shot is stable throughout whatever position in the screen you're in. So this is especially useful if you like to hang out at the back of the screen, and especially useful for those who like survival routing. And that's a big reason why I like this mode, and especially this game in particular. If you're brand new to shmups and you're playing for survival, this mode encourages really good survival routes, because if you have a very good survival route, then you can achieve a very high score by not dying as much. And so here we are at the first boss. This is a scoring opportunity that you could do where you can milk these bugs that come out of the boss and not fire at the main boss as much, but the score is so minimal here that there's no point in doing it. I think by milking that phase you get maybe an extra 30,000 points, which is not that much at all, so it's not worth the risk of doing it. And so we reached the end of stage 1. Starting stage 2, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. If you're optimizing for score, there are a couple of opportunities here, mainly in the nana bushes that will be coming up soon. I take a couple of opportunities to fire on the nana bushes when they're closed here. I don't do it here, but I do it a little bit further on. And what'll happen is if you fire upon them before they open, they will stay closed and they'll continuously drop amber pieces that you can collect. Of course, as you do that, since you're not destroying them, you have to dodge the bullets of any other bugs that are in the way. And so I do a little bit here, not too much. The main concern is trying to no miss, or trying to not die. I think, in my opinion, if you could consistently not die, or maybe get a 1 miss in your runs, then you're at a point where you can do these riskier score strategies in this mode. But until then, the risk of doing those strategies outweighs just doing a survival run and getting a higher score that way. So defeat the stage 2 mid boss, not too bad. If you use super shot, head onto these enemies here, and for the most part just streaming back and forth across the screen slowly. And then here is the first instance where it's important to prioritize the enemies. In this first case, you want to prioritize the small ones before destroying the big scorpion. And then later on, for these scorpions, you want to destroy those first, and then focus on the smaller enemies before they overwhelm you. And here I'm just using my focus shot. I'm not using super shot here. Enemies are weak enough that I don't really need to use it. That monster is a little tricky. The pattern there is designed to make you freak out a little bit and move a bit farther than you wanted to. Here I'm looking at the nana bush. This is probably the safest instance of farming the nana bush there. Stage 2 boss, here's a scoring opportunity that is actually worth the risk. If you don't destroy any of the legs before destroying the first phase, which I destroy one there, you get a bonus for each leg that you leave alive. I believe it's about 200,000. I'm not entirely sure. I destroy one. It's kind of simple to destroy one because of how strong your shot is. But that's alright, destroying one is okay. There's certain points where, like this pattern here, the legs are invulnerable. And as soon as you destroy the first phase, then you can fire wherever you want. The legs won't get destroyed. And then once you hit this last pattern, it's fairly simple. You just hang out in the middle and wait till the boss is destroyed. And so with the bonus I got, I already achieved my first extend, which is good. And if I had left that first leg alive, I'd have about 3.5 million right now. Here comes the third stage. This is where things start to get difficult. This third stage is a bit controversial. I'm not a huge fan of it. It has a bit of a different pace than the rest of the game, a bit slower. It's one of those where you have a giant bug and you destroy a lot of parts of it. And so you kind of just, I don't know, you find yourself standing in one spot and just streaming back and forth consistently and just slowly destroying parts over time, which to me is a bit different than the overall pace of the game, and even in the music you can kind of tell. But here in this part, you pick your gaps, you stream slowly side to side, and then pick your gaps that you want to cut through between those two long streams of bullets. A scoring opportunity here, if you were going for score, would be to actually leave the middle parts alive. And there I take a very silly death. But if you left the middle parts alive, then you would have a constant stream of bugs going for you, which would increase your score. This is the first example of what I would call a possible cheap death. That pattern is pretty hard to dodge, where you just, if you move too far, it'll clip you. And then here, when you destroy the main claw, you hang over to the side, because those little bugs will constantly spawn. They'll keep spawning forever. And then when this part lights up, you just move towards the side and keep moving, and then just move between the gaps of those bullets there. Keeping in mind not to move too far to the right, because then you're going to get clipped by one of those flying bugs that flies to the side. Here I hang out, start to the right, and go slowly to the left, and then I hang up to the right again, and then I stream to the left again. Those flying green bugs are very, very nasty. And then here again, this is one of those nasty patterns here. You have to be careful that you don't get clipped by a bug on the right. And once you defeat that claw, just hang out to the right, stream, and then pretty soon you're going to have a power up. Don't go for the power up right away, because those bugs might clip you. But having the formation here will make things a lot easier now. And you just stream to the side. And just keep streaming back and forth, and you're not going to get hit at all. Here's another kind of weird instance where those bugs that, the large green moths that spit those green bullets, you kind of have to know where they are before they spit out a large stream of bullets at you. And then here you just stream back and forth between those gaps. And as long as you keep that formation in the middle, your lasers will destroy those tiny little bugs. And then here, destroy those moths that come in, and then you can hang out right here. The screen is going to slowly scroll upwards, and I'm just using my super shot to get free points on the head here. And I'm looking towards the right to see when those parts blink. Now that they do, dodge slightly to the left, slightly up, kind of in a box pattern. As soon as that's destroyed, I go sneak over to the left. You can use a bomb to make things easier. I decide not to. And then now you'll know that you'll do things right for the secret extend when the pattern of the middle changes. Here comes boss number 3. So this, you'll see the inputs on my left. I'm using super shot for this boss to speed things up a bit. And here there's a lot of macro dodging. It's gonna throw these curved bullet patterns at you. And you macro dodge to the left. And then here is kind of like a bit of a misdirection. So you want to stay towards the middle as much as possible and just only look at the bullets that are coming directly at you. If you move too much, that's where the misdirection nails you in the end. And then here, I throw a bomb. This can get a little bit tricky with like the overlapping patterns, and I almost get clipped there at the end, but the overlapping pattern can be a little tricky, so I throw a bomb, which was a bomb I would have used to use a secret extend. So instead of using the bomb for the secret extent, I use the bomb there. So right now I'm at a no miss, or 1 miss, which is pretty good. Stage 4 is definitely my favorite level of the game. Very, very well designed in terms of how well it rewards the routing that you do. And so here I have the formation. It's very good to start the level with formation. And those green beetles are going to want to remember and memorize where they are. Memorizing where they're going to pop up makes things easier. For this giant water bug, you're going to dodge slightly to the right, and then you're just going to sit there and not move for that next pattern. And as long as you have the focus shot lined up, you're going to destroy it. These bugs that come out of the water can be tricky because they shoot laterally. You're going to want to destroy those, and especially those water bugs that are on the cliffs there, they shoot very, very tiny bullets. Here's another memo portion where you're just going to have to remember where these beetles are coming from before they fire a shot too much. And then here I'm going to stream to the left, from the left to the right, slowly, 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 and then macro dodge that pattern. And the same thing here, dodge slightly, and then stay put. And here I'm going to go from the left to the right 3 times. This is the second one, and then here's the third one again. And as I go here, I have the stage 4 boss, I pick up the trace, and then I follow the pattern of this. The pattern is sort of random, so sometimes it can lead you to the side of the screen, but just use all the real estate that you can. This pattern is a bit tricky. You have to kind of dodge twice between the gaps. I would have gotten hit there, so I use a bomb. Kind of like a good reaction bomb there, which is, reaction bombs are tough to do in this game because of how fast the bullets are, at least in this mode. So we're heading to the second part of the stage. You're going to have 3 green beetles. On the 3rd green beetle, you're going to want to be moving to the left because these water bugs will clip you. The bullets will come very fast here. After this clip comes, you're going to have the dragonfly portion. Any part that you destroy in the dragonfly portion, you can fly across. The hitbox goes away. However, to destroy the whole dragon and get the screen clear, you have to destroy the tail. I'm not going to be destroying every dragon here. I will destroy most of them. The screen clear is very important, especially for these first few, because you have the water bugs on the cliff that will try to pick you off. So as soon as you get the screen clear, move as fast as you can with the regular shot to clear any enemies that are firing at you. This is another portion where it rewards very good routing. So here I'm not going to destroy it, but I hang out on top of the dragon, and then sometimes it gets a little dicey where you have to kind of move slowly and make sure you destroy a part of the dragon's back before you fire on it. As soon as you see this turning, the dragon that turns back upward, it's a cue that you're heading towards the final group of dragonflies, which is the hardest portion here because you're going to have 3 on the screen at the same time. So for this one I destroy it. This one's a tricky one. You have to kind of ease your way onto the back of it. Destroy this one, quickly go all the way to the right, and I'm not going to just destroy the head on that one, and I just hang out in the middle here, and I pick out the last 2 at the same time. Stage 4 boss is waiting very patiently for me. So I have super shot on because I'm not going to mess around here. Those first few patterns you can micro dodge, and then here it's going to spit out 4 little bursts, and then this pretty nasty pattern where you just have to weave back and forth quickly. This one is another misdirection one where you just have to macro dodge around the lines and weave between the bullets. I use a bomb there because that trips me up quite a bit. Here this one looks tricky, but you just have to slowly stream tap dodge back and forth. And then once you hit this last pattern coming up here, then you're in the clear, which since I had super shot on, I didn't even have to dodge it. So we're coming up on stage 5. I have a 1 miss, which is very good. I'm quite pleased. And what I like to do, especially before the last stages of the game, just use the opportunity if you need to get some water, take a breath, and let the points add up so you can take the time that you need. This stage is fairly difficult. you're going to have these locusts that shoot these big spreads, and what you'll see is you'll have a lot of beefed up versions of monsters and plants that you encountered earlier in the game. So these moths now shoot 2 spreads instead of 1 like we found in an earlier game. You have this plant that spews out bugs, and you're going to want to stream towards them. And another portion of the memo, you're going to have to know that the plants spawn on opposite sides, so the next big plant is going to be on the right, and you're going to want to take advantage of the whole screen space, so all the way on the bottom and the side, to stream as slow as you can using Super Shot to destroy it. And so now this next one, the next big plant is going to end up also on the right here, so I'm going to go slowly as possible, destroy it. Destroying those plants gives you a little screen clear, and go all the way up. It gets a little close. And so now I have 2 of those big plants at the same time, so I'll start at the right, stream all the way up, get the screen clear, use the slowdown to plan my dodges, and then I go slowly back and just using the Super Shot take advantage of the real estate. When you hear the music pick up like this, then you'll know that the mid-boss is coming. This mid-boss is kind of challenging, so I tap to the left, to the right between those, and then I tap a little bit there, and then here is where it gets a little tricky. We have to move up and then back down, and then here I almost get clipped before the pattern got me. It's a matter of timing, so sometimes it'll end up leaving a pixel in that boss before getting hit, but I actually had to use a bomb there because I got walled off by those little bugs. And so here we're entering the final rush, where now instead of those giant plants you have these giant spiders, similar to the ones you found in stage 1, but they're, like I said, a beefed up portion of them. And it's just a matter of streaming back and forth. That one was a little bit of a risky cutback that I should have bombed, but I decided not to because I only have 1 bomb left. And anytime I encounter a big enemy, I'm just using my Super Shot. So then these spiders will give us full screen clear, but the screen clear is delayed, so it takes a little bit of time for them to blow up. And I have these moths, I always dodge twice with those big moths. Here's another one, dodge 1, 2, excellent. And then these locusts, and then here I'm approaching the very final rush after this big spider comes in, where it gets extremely hectic. And this is where I'm going to save my last bomb for. You could get through it without using a bomb, but I take a death there. I should have used a bomb earlier. But here's where the final rush goes. Using a bomb just lets you zoom back and forth and do a little bit of cleanup, make things a lot easier. So here's the stage 5 boss. The peculiar thing about this stage 5 boss for Mushi Original is that it's actually a little bit on the easy side. So if you're only going for the clear, if you have 3 bombs or more, even if you're on your last life, if you have 3 bombs or more, then it's a pretty high likelihood that you'll clear this. The hardest portion of this boss is this earlier section, like this pattern where you have to dodge through these patterns and avoid the waves here. But the later patterns are fairly easy. These you just do sweeping dodges between these lines. And then anytime, if you have multiple lives and you have multiple bombs, you can just bomb. Since you hear the music changes and you get to this pattern is fairly easy, especially with bombs, and I'm just going to bomb through it. So I'm not going to really care about having to dodge through it. There's no penalty for bombing. There's no score penalty, and you don't really get an end bonus for having bombs available to you, so it's use it or lose it. So with that clear, I have 3 lives left over, so I'm going to get an extra 30 million. You'll see how lopsided the scoring is in this mode, where it encourages a no miss run. So if I had no miss, I'd get around 61 million. But I got 41 million, I'm pretty happy with that. In general, I do enjoy this mode a lot. I think it's a really good mode for beginners of the genre who might be looking for the first arcade clear, especially their first cave arcade clear, where the challenge is there in the routing. If you route it properly and you route for survival, then it actually rewards you with a decent score, which is kind of like a good mix. A lot of survival players might not be interested in playing for score, so I think this is a good game that will let you get a high score while playing mainly for survival. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. I'd appreciate it, and I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you very much.